My name is Susan Mair and I work in National Health Education for Scotland, or NES as many of you will know it. And today I'm here to facilitate a session on well-being, a subject that is really important now, and you'll probably have heard that term many times. It's certainly upped its profile recently. So we're going to, throughout the session, emphasis on interaction and connection. There'll be a little bit of information giving. It's not information heavy. There'll be time for you to reflect on your own situation, and there'll be some techniques we'll also discuss. So first of all, I'd really like to know, how are you feeling? I'd like to just get a reaction from you, and it's going to be a word cloud that Vicky is just now posting in the chat, and I was very rude, didn't introduce my co-facilitators, Nick and Vicky, who are here to help out, to back up. So yes, how are you feeling just now? People just put in one word really about how you feel right now, so it's coming through loud and clear. So people are feeling a bit jaded, a bit tired. It's looking like some good, frazzled. Yeah, but if you're not getting, if you can't see this word cloud, you should be able to see it in the chat, or just put in the chat. So we're getting a few people saying that they're tired in the chat, and maybe that's got to do with it's 8 minutes past 9 in the morning, so we are quite early, but we've been through a lot recently, and responses are just coming in. I'm just going to let these responses roll in. Sometimes you get a little bit of a time delay on things as well. So yeah, we've got a real mixture here. Tired really coming across, and tiredness can be a symptom as well of how we feel generally. If you know, there's been so much anxiety and stress about that does make us feel tired. We've got our different situation, we've got our own situation. We're going to look today at how we can influence and control our own well-being, because there's certain things that we can't control, and thinking about the situation in the world around us, how much control do you have over that? And that could be impacting you as well. So there's been so much, and now there's more things going on in the world. But let's think about what can you influence now today for your own well-being, and that's where I want to focus my attention and our attention today. So I'm getting that message from you. There's a lot of tired, there's a lot of people feeling a bit overwhelmed, even stressed, lost, someone's feeling not great, so lots of things. So yeah, it's coming through loud and clear, folks, as to how you guys are feeling, and that will be due to a range of causes. So what we're going to do now, so thanks so much for interacting with that. I would just like us to before we get started really properly into the session, is just to take a moment and pause. Just start by checking in with your mind. Think about where is your mind right now? Just notice what's going on inside you. Just take that pause. Stop doing and just be. And then, having noticed what's going on inside in your mind, your body, what's going on in your physical environment, just looking around you. So whether it's in your home, whether it's in a workplace, what is there around? Just take a wee look I'm looking around the room, just take how you look, see what your eyes land on, and how does that make you feel? What is your reaction to your physical environment? Is it good? Is it not so good? Are you experiencing any joy there? Are you noticing anything that's really nice or something maybe you want to change? Just a quick noticing. The next thing I want you to think about is your breath. This is something that we do a lot of. So something like 70,000 breaths a day, and most of the time we don't notice that. We are unconscious of it. So just notice what happens when you bring your attention to your breath. And then I would invite you, and none of this that obviously you have to do, is entirely up to you, is to take a deep breath and just fill your lungs. So just filling your lungs up and then exhale slowly. And just repeat that a couple of times. Try it again. And it's a long exhale we're aiming for. And again. And then I'm just going to invite you now just to notice how you feel. And I'm hoping, and you can put in the chat if you don't agree, that you may feel slightly calmer. You may, depending on what's going on with you, because that lengthened exhale changes the chemistry in your body. It actually calms your, what's called the vagus nerve, that some of you might have heard of, which is a nerve that runs all the way from the brain right through the body, and it's connected to the lungs and the digestive system. So breathing can really influence how you feel. And you've just learned your first technique, if you haven't done anything like this before, that your breath is something, you've always got it, and you can come back to it anytime. It is there for you. So if things get to be overwhelming, just even seconds, just to take those deep breaths. There's also psychological evidence or physiological evidence that has shown that a breathing practice reduces blood pressure significantly. So there's lots of science behind this, which you can get easily by Googling, and we've got some links at the end. I'm going to come to Nick now to see what are you seeing in the chat, Nick?
Hey, Susan. Yeah, just people talking about how they're feeling today, and putting in a little bit about that they're feeling relaxed after the breathing and stuff like that as well.
Oh, that's great. That's really good to hear that worked for some people. So yeah, there's something that you can go back to and use. And I'm sure you'll have heard of this before, and you might have even tried it. So the next thing we're going to do, because we want to think about what about movement, what about the physical side of the body. So I'm going to invite you to notice your physical body and just to scan through and notice, what do you find there? So just scan, maybe start from the feet, just think about your feet, your ankles, just work your way up through the body and just notice, is there anything there? Are you getting any feedback? How much do we notice what's going on in our body? We tend to just be doing all the time, and we tend not to notice what our body is telling us. So any areas of tension, discomfort, anything, nothing, there's no right or wrong answer to this. I'm going to now invite you to take a big stretch, and Vicky's saying she loves a good stretch. It is great. So if you want to, just open your arms up as you inhale and lift them up. And take a big stretch, fill your lungs with air. And then as you breathe out, just lower your arms down. And then you can try lifting the corners of your mouth and notice if that makes you feel any different, coming into a smile. So we're going to repeat that, just inhaling, big stretch, lifting the arms up, stretch. And then as you exhale, just bring the arms down. And just notice how movement in the body, then that brings in a different chemistry, that brings in a different feeling. So our muscles send endorphins out back into our brain and our nervous system when we move. So that's why movement is really, really important. It's not just about losing weight, being fit. It actually is really good for your well-being. And we're going to talk a little more about movement later on, so I'm not going into too much just now. We've got another poll coming up. So we had that kind of snapshot of how you're feeling as you came into the room. It's now about how would you rate your general well-being, whatever that means to you, because it means different things to different people. But if we're thinking mind and body, the whole package, everything, how would you rate your well-being on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is great, the best you can be, and 1 is maybe just not so good. Oh, that's a lovely optimistic start. But yeah, we're going to get a full range of responses here. I just know that. So just you put in exactly what you think. What is your own assessment? Because really, that's what counts. It's your assessment of you is what counts. And that's what's important. It's your perception. No one can really tell you how your well-being is. That's for you. So 7's featuring quite high, followed by 6, but we've got a full spread there. And I'm going to suggest to you that if you're at the 3s and the 2s, no matter where you are on this scale, it's really important to think about what is it that you would like to do. Because I say would like, because it's up to you to improve that. So thank you for those responses. And we've got some coming in the chat as well. We've got a range in the chat ranging from 4 to 7, isn't it?
We've got 6, we've got 5, 4, 7 and 4 in the chat as well. Okay. So a big range there as well.
Big range. And that's what I know. I've done one of these sessions already this week, and there was a really big range of feeling. And I think that's absolutely not surprising, considering what is going on for us all, and particularly for you people out there on the front line. So at the sharp end, really, yeah, totally get that. Thanks for your honesty, and thanks for communicating that back. We're going to talk about some of the things then that we could be looking at, and one of them is being in the present moment. And what is all that about? You hear that a lot, mindfulness and being in the present moment. I'm not particularly, mindfulness is something that it's really about being in the present moment, so I'm not going to complicate it any more than that. But the present moment is where life happens. How much time do you spend there? I mean, I'll tell you a little story. I've got 3 daughters, and I spent so much time when they were doing all their stuff at school, videoing them, that I was always behind a camera. I never actually watched the little school plays and shows. I never really watched them. I've filmed them all the time. And And I was just reflecting on that and thinking, I wasn't really there a lot of the time, because I would be worrying about stuff and I'd be thinking about the future, what's going to happen, and how much time are we actually living in the present. There's been lots of studies done on this, and the kind of figures that have come out of those studies is that we spend about 60% of our time in the future or the past and not actually living life in the present. And that is because we've evolved that way. We've evolved to be aware, to learn from the past and to be wary of the future, because it's about our survival. And particularly when we were hunter-gatherers and out in the jungle, then it was really important to have that, what's called a negative bias. So have that negative view in things, just so that we could be wary of what might harm us. However, that's got a bit distorted now, because we don't have the same dangers, so we perceive other things as dangers, and the way that the biggest dangers are perceived, it is generally to do with relationships. That's the thing that can be most threatening for us. So when you think about maybe where your anxiety can come from, or if you're worried about things, it's often to do with your interaction with people. So think about where your mind is now. We're going to put in another little poll, and I would like you to think really honestly, and I won't be offended. Is your mind in the past? Were you thinking about something in the past? Is it the present or the future? So see if you can notice that and give us an assessment. So to be mindful, you don't need to sit cross-legged in the lotus position and chant or anything like that. You can just be noticing what's happening in the here and now, what's going on around you. So we're getting some results coming in. Interesting to see if they reflect the research. And at the moment, they're kind of in line with it. Lots of people. Good, lots of people in the present, that's good. I mean, certainly the exercise at the beginning was to bring us into the present and to notice what was going on with you. So that's interesting. And I think it's really interesting as well about the physical feedback. We don't really notice what our body's telling us because we're too busy thinking about things that might happen and worrying about where we were in the past. Okay, so we've got the responses in for all people. I don't know if it's in the chat as well, Nick. I can't see that. I can't see chats. I'm not seeing that there's any more messages other than the poll. No. Okay, so yeah, there you go. I'm I'm just looking at that going, right, if we add up past and future, so not many people in the past. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? But so we've got 54% either in the past or future, and 45, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, 45 in the present. So it's just to do with the numbers that have come in there, the percentage, slight discrepancy in the percentage there. So that's it, quite echoes the findings of the research. The present moment, and this is where life happens. This is what you've got. And as they say, the past is history, the future's a mystery, and all we've really got is the gift of the here and now. And that's why it's called the present moment, because it's a gift. So bringing yourself into the present can be a really nice place to be. Keeping your mind in the here and now, it can be very calming, and it can just allow worries and regrets to be left alone, and also focusing on things that might never happen, anxiety about the future. It's not there if you're in the present moment. So this is why there's this big push towards mindfulness, but you don't need any training in mindfulness. All you need to do is notice the present moment, experience it, and just be there. Notice what's around you, notice your mind, and notice what's going on in your body. So I've got some signposts and some links at the end that will take you to places that you can find out more about mindfulness if you wish. Okay? So there's no preachy stuff here today, nothing like that. So self-care isn't selfish. Self-care is a must. And I would guarantee that most of you deny yourself that. You're probably too busy doing other things, being, working, looking after other people. And then when it's the time to relax, you maybe think, oh, I should be really doing something. So we're not very good at taking that time for ourselves because we think, oh, it's a bit selfish to do that just for me, but it is necessary. And it's that oxygen mask analogy where you have to put on your own oxygen mask first before trying to help anybody else. I'm going to look at a very simple model of well-being. It's not even a model, it's just looking at some highlights. There are lots of models of well-being if you are interested, and you will be able to find these. We've also directed you to some links at the which we'll post at the end. But I'm just going to look at some really simple elements, and what the reason for looking at these different elements, which we're about to just go through, is I would like you, as we go through them, to think about what you are doing in your own life in each of these areas. And then we're going to, after this, we'll move towards a breakout, and we will discuss in that breakout what you would like to work on, if anything, or maybe you think, well, I'm really good in that area. I mean, maybe you can share your tips with other people. So it's a chance for you to connect with your colleagues. And actually, what you talk about is entirely up to you, because we won't be coming into your breakout rooms. So it's entirely up to you. But just to give you a bit of a focus on these key components of well-being. Okay. And the first one, is eating. Yeah, and I'm certainly not gonna give you a diet plan or anything like that. But I think it's an interesting concept that what you eat becomes a part of you. It is assimilated into your body. It is taken into your body and it becomes part of you. And actually, just that simple thought, that makes me think about what I'm eating. Not all the time. Not all the time. I'm just like anybody else. But thinking about, what is the food you eat doing for you? Are you feeding yourself well? Is this a snack on the run and just whatever you can get? Or are you looking at getting, nourishing, fresh, seasonal whole food, if you can, to promote your well-being? Are you eating lots of processed and high sugar stuff? Because that's addictive and it can be harmful. We all eat it, we all do. So again, not preachy. I just want you to think about this. Most of us are somewhere in between. And do you know that your gut, your digestive system has intelligence? It is very sensitive and it is loads and loads of nerve endings. It has lots of nerve endings. So listen to the feedback. When you've eaten, notice how you feel. Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel, yeah? Notice and think, what is that doing for me? Okay. How do you eat is important. Do you eat on the go? Do you take your time? And also a really interesting field of research at the moment is how long you eat. So do you eat all day? Do you snack all day? Or do you confine your eating to short time periods? And that's something that's a big factor in well-being at the moment. And there's some interesting information out there on that. If you want to find out more, it would be restricted Restricted time eating or intermittent fasting. It's not fasting, it's not eating, it's eating within a shorter time space. No time for this today, though. That could be a whole series of sessions on its own. The next mega important thing for well-being is sleep. And that's something that we're like, oh, well, you know. Actually, adults need 7 to 9 hours sleep. It's super important because research has been showing that as we are in our slow wave sleep, our delta sleep, in the early part of the night, that's the time when our brain is clearing out and processing the byproducts of all the work it's been doing during the day. So it's clearing out the rubbish. And if you don't get that quality sleep, which happens early in the night, then you haven't cleaned out all the toxins and stuff that are still maybe floating about in your brain that are byproducts. And then the second kind of sleep is REM sleep, where we dream and we can move and twitch and things like that. And that's where we are processing our memories, trying to think. So sleeping, super, super important. How do you sleep? How long? Do you have technology in your bedroom? Because blue light is telling your brain it's daylight, and that's what comes from screens. And that throws out our circadian rhythm, which is our timing, time of day. So blue light's another area of research at the moment. Think about sleep. How is that for you? Some people are working out their bedrooms. I don't know how that feels, because then, you know, when you go to bed, you're actually in your workplace. So there you go. Some interesting discussions to be had on that. Relax. This is the time, taking time out for you, and it doesn't just mean lying on the couch, although it might, if that's what brings you joy. Find what makes you joyful, what makes you happy, what do you like to do, and it can be completely different things for different people. Do you know? Does it spring to mind what brings you joy? If I ask you that right now, do you know? So think about that. And are you doing that? Are you allowing yourself time to do that? How much time? How often? It might be difficult to get time out. I totally understand that. It might be difficult, but what can you carve out? You need to recover. You need to recuperate. Super important to move. Was talking about this earlier. We have evolved to move. We are wild things, and we have evolved to move. It doesn't mean running a marathon, being an athlete. That would be very nice. It doesn't mean going to the gym every day unless you want to. But any kind of movement, any movement at all, anything. So walking, moving, dancing, anything you want to do. If you want to go into the sports and run a marathon, that's fab. But it's not about that, just any movement you can find. Dance in the kitchen, walk, do anything. Staying in the same position. If you are a desk worker, and I know lots of you aren't, but if you are and you're staying in the same position, is not good for you all day. It is not good. So try to, if you can, get up, walk about, do all these things. You know this, you've heard this advice. Just thinking to yourself, what I want you to focus on is how much do you move? What do you need to do about that? If anything. And you might not, you might be quite happy. And the final thing I've got in my list, and this isn't all there is to wellbeing, but these are the key components that I've found in the things I've been looking at, is connection. We are actually tribal beings. We have evolved to connect. We've actually evolved to cooperate and help each other, and that's how we are successful as a species, because we have cooperated over thousands and thousands of years. We are losing this connection, well, with what's been happening with the pandemic. We lost a lot of our connection. Social media is also hijacking that real connection with people. The last couple of years has compounded this. How much time do you take to connect with people? How much connection do you have? it's important to do this, and not just on a superficial level. If you've got connections, friends, family members that you can connect with on a deeper level, that's really important. We need each other. Those are the things that I am suggesting to you. You may have other things that you want to discuss in your breakout rooms. I just want to ask you to think about, where are you in this wellbeing process? Folks, I hope you had a good chat with your colleagues and were able to have some time, and that the breakouts worked for you. We seem to get a lot more people off into breakouts this time than we did the last time. And really, this is just, that's nice, Suzanne. I'm so glad. I think actually the breakouts are the best part. I honestly do, because when you start talking to people, you just realise you're not alone, and then you can get some good ideas as well. So it's really nice to have that we connect. So you're connecting. That connection's super important. So we're just going to do a little poll on, and that's Kirsty saying it's a good chat. That's great. I really like that. That really makes me happy when I see these things. Which area of well-being are you going to work on? That's assuming that you are going to work on a particular area of well-being. It's just to get an idea of what's important to you. So if it's a poll, so you can vote on anything there that you think, maybe I need to do a bit more on that, or I'm going to do a bit more on that. Here we go. Not a lot of folk working on relaxation at the moment. I put in other because I thought, well, there might be something else. I'm not sure what. There will be lots of other things, I'm sure. Okay, connection, yeah, I think that's an interesting one, because we do tend to be quite superficial in our connections. Yeah. Oh, that's Jacqueline thanking our group, I think, maybe. Lovely. So we're still got responses coming in for that one, and at the moment, at the moment, connection is in the lead, followed by move. Yeah, it's easy to get out of the way of that, isn't it? It really is. So you can still vote on that if you would like to submit your vote. That would be lovely. Yeah. So I have Hannah's saying, so used to closed bubbles. That's absolutely true. We have got, I know personally, I've got quite insular, and I'm trying to now open that up a bit. Yeah, it's great. Well, one thing that I'm doing a lot more, I find myself with people, I'm maybe meeting people for a walk, which is, I don't know if I did that before. I maybe went a walk myself, but I didn't often meet people for a walk, and that's where you can get a really good chat going, and that's where you can get that kind of slightly deeper level of connection. Just works for me. Okay, so we are still, we've got Move and Connect, both equal now, and Sleep's coming up as a third option. People are quite happy with their eating, it seems to be, and they're also doing well with their relaxation. Great, that's good to hear. That's brilliant. Okay, folks, thank you so much for that interaction, and thanks for really being involved. There's going to be some links pasted into the chat, and the chat will still be available to you after the session. Am I right, actually, in saying that? Or do people need to copy these links out?
We would suggest copying and pasting them just now. It's just that some people's deletion policies are different, so we don't know that those are.
Right. So what I do usually in that case, because on these things, is to, if you're able to, if you have a device that you can copy and paste it somewhere, even in an email to yourself or in your notes somewhere. So we've got some stuff on mindfulness. We've got some breathing exercises. I've got Rangan Chatterjee's podcasts that will lead you to lots and lots of other things. We've got an article on breathing, and we've got oh gosh, lots of things I've put in. The National Wellbeing Hub. There's so much there for us as employees. So much there. If you just put National Wellbeing Hub, even in Google, if you don't remember the link, there's free apps and online programs on the Wellbeing Hub. Tips about sleeping, which I'm just about to read myself in detail. So yeah, lots of stuff. There's so much stuff I could have gone on, and there looks like there's quite a lot already there. So folks, we're coming to the close of our session. We've got a little word cloud for you. You'll be getting really good at these interactions, and if you could just put in what you're taking away from today's session, just one word, please, that would be great. Just to give us a bit of quick feedback. And I think I saw something from Sheila. Yeah, chat will normally close straight after the session. Oh yeah, that would be nice if you could keep it open till the end of the day, Sheila, if it wasn't too much bother. That would be really great. Give people a chance if they want to get that stuff. Thank you very much for that. I see that. So, oh, look at this. This is great. I'm loving this. Love a word cloud. This is so positive, folks. It's really nice to see this. You know, and particularly in comparison to the one at the beginning, it's lovely to see some hope, self-care, positivity. Love how the words all change and move around. Connected. Really nice chatting. So important, isn't it? Talking to people is huge. Conversation, feeling reassured. Community, yeah. That is. This is amazing feedback. That makes me feel. That just makes me feel really happy to see that. Really, really great. Okay, thank you so much for joining today. Wish we could have longer, could go into lots of stuff. It would have been great to chat and connect with you all. But I just want to leave you with a message. Be in love with your life and every minute of it. Enjoy. And thank you.